Welcome to Tuttle Talk on 1190 AM. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Andy Tuttle.
Good morning and welcome to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network, where we teach you what the rich and the banks do, not what they tell you to do, and where we dispel the misconceptions of financial wellness and the local real estate market and show you how focusing on a few key principles can really free you up to focus on the other areas of your life that are important, like your friends, your family, and the community. It's the most important hour of radio right here on 1190 AM KFXR every Saturday in the great state of Texas. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. Thank you so much for joining me. You can reach me on my off-air number, confidential hotline at 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. We'll be glad to talk to you about anything we discussed today, any of your real estate or finance needs there. And you can also email me at questions@andytuttle.com. If you want to get in the conversation, it's a great way to do that. You can go to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk and like the fan page if you haven't done that yet. We post all kinds of great tips, financial tips, real estate tips, mortgage tips, give you some of the current events that's going on and ask you some good questions so you can get in a conversation to make sure you're set up to have an enjoyable and healthy financial life and know how to win in this market and really in any market, especially if you're looking to buy a house or you own a home and you're looking to restructure that financing. Okay, guys, I got to tell you, we got a packed show today. A lot happened this week. We'll get into a little bit of the State of the Union address and the manhunt that's now over and what happened in South Africa. We're also going to talk a little bit about some ways you can use how you can finance with your partner, how you can do budgeting with your partner, and some of those great tips. And then we're going to talk to some fantastic agents over at Keller Williams Plano, Nick Klein and Marjorie Ornelas of the Ornelas+Kline Group. Great agents. Gabe always doing the crowd noise. He loves this. You're not a soundbite. I love that. No, they are fantastic agents, and they're going to join us today. Going to give you some tips, especially if you're a buyer in this market. There's a little change in the season going. They're going to give their opinion on has the tide changed? Has it gone from a buyer's to a seller's market? We're going to get their advice and wisdom on that. Also, we're going to talk with Nick Klein. He is the president of the North Texas YPN, and talk about how it's so important and why it's so important that realtors get together and network together and how that benefits you. So I can't wait to share that with you today, so you're going to want to stay with us. Okay, guys. John, by the way, good to have you back.
Hey, glad to be here.
I know, right? Did you miss us?
I did, but I listened every weekend.
That's right. You had to stay apart.
That's right.
Stay apart. Good. Gabe, of course, now has decided to just ruin the show by talking most of the time, but I try to do my best to make fun of him as often as possible.
Silence. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had something in my throat.
No
That's
response.
bad. That's not good radio. I don't know what you're doing there. So now,
when you start with an insult,
I know that no. Wait, is your mic on? I hope not. So I know that you guys. I know you don't keep up with the news like I do, but because you don't care about the community, but I do, and so I am in here watching what happened this week. Now, did you guys? Were you up to date on the manhunt that was going on?
Yes.
That was an insane. First of all, it felt like a movie watching it, like because there was a lot of talk that there really was a conspiracy, right? When you look at his manifesto, he's an ex-Marine and an ex-cop, and he killed, I think, 4 police officers, I believe. It was 4 people, or at least 4 people on his manifestos. I know a couple of them were at least police officers.
Yeah, 2. I think 2 were cops, and then 2. One was the daughter of the guy that helped him and defend his case he wasn't happy with. That was the scary part for me, was the fact that he went after people that really had nothing to do with the case.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And it's just not the way you go about.
No.
If something like that does happen, you don't go about killing people. That's not your way to resolve it. And I don't know if the drones, because I know President Obama has said, hey, man, we're going to get the drones after this guy and look and go around Big Bear, because the guy was hiding out in Big Bear, right? And so apparently they sent drones out to find him. Otherwise, they said they didn't think they'd find him, and it just ended in a firefight on Thursday morning. So they went to the cops, found him, chased him. Apparently he stole 2 cars and took the cops on a 30-mile chase, ended up in the cabin, and they threw some tear gas at him. One of them was flammable, and it just burned the whole cabin down, and he burned alive in it. So the cops said they didn't do that on purpose. But, I mean, the good news is the manhunt is over, because that's a big deal. And I just, and I look at that going on, right? You got a Marine, ex-cop, has a bad thing happen, it goes away. That's a horrible thing. I'm glad that's done. But it got me thinking on it actually got me thinking on the drones, because that's what shocked me, because I got, man, that really did maybe help this whole situation. And yet, it scares me a little, because it's one of those deals where that sets a precedent, right? You always use case, we'll see how this helped here, and then all of a sudden you have a drone in another case, and then drones, and then something that the president and no president wants to do, and as far as, and what he said he would never do, which is put drones on American soil, and yet we just had that. And so I know that the phone tapping deal from the Bush era administration, that got a lot of heat, and this was real quick. It didn't go on for a long time, and he was forward about it. It didn't get found out by somebody sneaky later, so it was a better approach if you think about that. But at the same time, it's the same deal. It's something that really just watch this, see what happens. It may not happen for another year or two, but watch when you do this kind of thing. It could be something where, and I don't want to get conspiracy theory on you, but it's just something to always be aware of when those kind of surveillance techniques are used on American soil, what that does to your privacy and what that does to you. You don't mind certain things, but we start using drones to get this, and it works, and then we're going to start getting drones to use a lot of cases, and then you just got drones all over the sky. I know that's 10 to 20 years out if that happens, but it's Star Trek, but it's something to think about. You got to be aware of that. Here's something else. And I think this is, I had to be in the news this week because so much was going on. But the double amputee, I saw Oscar from South Africa.
Pistorius, yeah.
I couldn't say his
the
last name.
Olympic runner, right.
Yeah, Olympic runner. Huge hero to South Africa. Came out that his girlfriend died. First it came out that he killed her accidentally, and that it was, she was coming to surprise him for Valentine's Day. Turned out that wasn't the case. And it ended up that they had arguments, had domestic violence reports before that, but he's a hero to that country. And I know that, and the only reason this gets me thinking is it got me thinking about the Lance Armstrong, right? Heroes, Tiger Woods, and all these, they're just humans. And just be careful who you put up on a pedestal in your life, because people are human, they're flawed, we're flawed. I know most of you put Gabe up on a pedestal because he's a hero to you, giving you that free utility concierge service, which is awesome. But seriously, this is something, I think weeks like this, you got to take note of this stuff. You can't go, wow, man, that's so horrible, and not realize how much you put that person up on a pedestal, because just be wary when you admire an athlete, admire a Marine, admire an Olympian. It's great, but keep it in check. They're human, they're flawed. Don't tie your hopes to them, and be careful, because when you go, I want to be like that guy, well, that guy in this area may sacrifice to be this great athlete, to be all the number one here. He sacrificed so many other areas of his life. So just be careful when you set your sights on being the number one this, because if you put your subconscious, if it trains you to do that, it's going to rob areas from from your family. It's going to rob from other areas of your life. So be as excellent as you can be, but be balanced in your life, because your family needs your support and your love. Your kids do, your friends do. There's a lot of other areas of your life than just business or your glory or whatever. So be careful there. Okay, State of the Union. Actually, I thought Obama did better here than he did in the inauguration. I feel like he ignored the economy to a great degree, and I feel like he ignored the war on terror. Speaking of which, you see what North Korea did the last few days? But in the State of the Union, I think he addressed housing more. He always sounds good, I'll be honest. I think Obama he's getting better every time I hear him speak, in his rhetoric and the way he communicates, and he's reading those teleprompters personally. I believe that he's doing well. Every president reads teleprompters.
So you're saying he reads well?
Yeah, right. He reads well. Hey, man, you don't read so well. I'm telling you, it's hard to present. At the same time, some of those things are so much easier said than done. And one of the things I was thinking about when I was listening to it, because I did watch the whole thing. Did you guys get to catch any of this? So one of the things that I noticed was that, and really the main part of it was that when he is talking about investing in the future, let's invest in our future. Let's do green. Let's make sure we're investing in innovation. Man, all that stuff is actually great. I love that stuff. That gets me excited. I'm like, yeah, I agree. But then I look at it and I say it's great to look for the future, but not with ignoring the present. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. And I decided to break this down. So I want to break this down why I think this is a dangerous place to be. And although the rhetoric is great, and in fact, I'm a big thinker like that, and I appreciate those big ideas, I don't believe it's to the benefit of our country right now to focus on that, to the detriment of what our reality is. And so here's our economic situation right now. If you compare the economic situation of our country to you personally. I mean, you've got a responsibility every day you get up in the morning to go work hard, to earn a living, to live a balanced life, have a balanced budget. If you don't, creditors are coming after you, right? Creditors are hounding on you, getting debt collectors, et cetera. You got to do it right or you're going to get in trouble. You're not going to be able to borrow right, et cetera. So if you look at our country right now, it is equivalent to you making a $25,000 income, having expenses a year, $25,000 a year income, having $36,000 a year in expenses, and having a $160,000 debt load. So if that happened to you, if you were making $25,000 a year, you were spending $36,000 a year and had that much of a debt load, what would you do? You have to file bankruptcy, right?
Absolutely.
Well, countries don't file bankruptcies, right? So they spend, they borrow, they do what we've done, quantitative easing 1, quantitative easing 2. Now on the third one of spending, we've had TALF, all kinds of 4-letter acronyms for spending measures or borrowing measures to try to stimulate the economy. But what I fear is that all of this focus on investing, if you personally are in that situation, are you investing in Amazon? Can you? You can't, right? It's not an opportunity. It's a great one to look at, but it's not the one you need to focus on right now. That Amazon, you can't do Apple. You can't invest because you've got to get rid of your debt first. You know what I mean? And actually, I really agree with Dave Ramsey on this when he talks about those baby steps. It's great to have a vision, but it's the same rhetoric from inauguration. It's the same from the State of the Union, and we've got to focus on getting out of the situation that we're in. And I don't think that I do agree with the Republicans on this, that this extra taxing is not going to help some of the job markets. And the reason is because I know a lot of small business owners, right? And they're really stressed out about the healthcare. They're stressed out about some of these. They're not able to hire. And I think what I've got from in talking with them, and this is a biased view because it's about small business owners that I've talked to. If you raise the minimum wage, what they want to do to $9 an hour, which I love as an employee, but as a business owner, all of a sudden now, what happens when you raise minimum wage? Well, you have
costs
a certain
go up.
Your costs go up.
More taxes.
And you can't hire. Right? So you can't hire that extra employee that you need. So it seems like a contrarian, right? So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I just took a couple of those and I was like, man, that makes me a little concerned. I want to change that conversation. I feel like we got to focus on something based on our current economic situation right now. But he did say something else about housing. And remember, if you want to get any of this, you can go to andytuttle.com to catch these interviews. If you missed them, to catch any of this discussion, you can also reach out to us. If you have comments about this, you can go to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk and get into the conversation there, or email me at questions@andytuttle.com. He did mention a thing on housing, which I like that I appreciated that he did that this time, and talking about trying to spur housing. And of course, coming up with another way, because he is right. We still have millions of Americans that haven't been able to restructure their financing. I don't think that bill's going to pass with everything else going on, but it'd be a great opportunity. Gabe knows some personally. We've tried to help, but that we should do that, and I appreciate that he mentioned that. But I don't know if it's going to have a lot of. I don't know if it's going to have a lot of pull right now. There's just not a lot of clear ways through Congress to get a lot of the stuff done that he wants to get done. You know, but some of it I do agree with, to be honest. And there's just some things that I'm like, man. It's a lot of wasted rhetoric right now. We've got to focus on other things. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah, he's got to focus on the now. I mean, that's been his. He's been talking about things to be getting done for 4 years, and a lot of things hadn't gotten done. So let's focus on what we can change now, not next year. Now, and the easiest thing to do is there's a lot of cuts that can be made. For me, you got to look at you broke it down to a household. Example. Break it down to a business example. If you're in that situation with a business, what do you got to do? You got to make cuts.
Yeah.
So it's got to be done.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's true. And it's a tough job, man. I got to tell you, I just have politics is a tough job, and it's it's tougher now than ever. We're most polarized. We're the most negative we be. And I didn't hear this. And one of the things I was hoping for in the speech was just. And maybe he just got tired of doing it. Hey, man, he's doubled down on he's made it. I would do the same thing. He doubled down. I don't know what Mitt Romney would have done. I don't know. In all fairness, it's just being objective about it. I don't know if he would have done any better or worse. But I think we would have. I would do as the president what he did. Double down on what you said you were going to do and keep pushing that message forward. But as negative as we've been, as polarized as we've been, I was hoping for a little more bringing together for the unity. Maybe I just missed that. Maybe I was too concentrated on something else, but I didn't hear that bipartisan, real, as a leader of our country, to continue to beat that drum. You can't stop. You know what I mean? You cannot stop beating that drum of, guys, we got to work together. We got to do it. So I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, but I don't think that comes just from him. It comes from him and the other people in the room, and I'm not sure that the other people in the room are necessarily bought into that let's work together thing yet.
No, you're fair. But I agree with that. I guess as the leader of the country, I
Right.
feel like you have to keep beating that drum, even though you know everyone's not bought in yet.
Right.
You've just got to keep even more so pushing that
Right.
and reminding them. So I'm not saying it's easy. That's for sure. It is not easy to be in politics right now. Okay. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am talking with Gabe and John right now. I do want to get into this before we go to break. Word on wealth. John, good to have you back. I want to talk about, I actually missed talking a little bit about insurance because it is, it's very important.
Did you hear what you just said? You missed talking about insurance.
It's true. I know that's weird, but I believe it's important stuff because it's those little things that people don't think about. You set it and forget it, but little reminders of how important it are. That's why it's a critical conversation to have.
Absolutely. And one quick example of that is I have I deal with a lot of financial advisors, among others that I talk with a lot. One of my good financial friends calls the other day and he said, you've been telling me for 3 years how important it is to do financial reviews. And he said, one of my clients, their son and wife was in a really bad car wreck. Each of them was in the hospital for about a week. And the problem was that the guy that hit them had 30/60 limits, which in essence means state minimums on the bodily injury. Their uninsured motorist was 30/60, which means together those two policies didn't have enough to cover the medical bills. So the client calls the financial advisor back and says, I know it's not your job to write the insurance, but you are my financial advisor. And you should be making sure that I have taken care of my financial health across the board, which seems like a stretch maybe on first blush that a financial advisor should talk about insurance. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the right insurance, it can wipe you out financially. Big lesson.
Yeah, it is a big lesson. So what ended up happening with them?
Oh, what ended up happening is they had medical coverage, but they have deductibles. In their case, they were okay, but imagine the scenario where you don't. The easier one to understand is, let's say that you've got state minimums, and I run into your nice, shiny, brand new BMW, right? Well, your company isn't going to forgive the fact that I didn't have enough insurance. They're going to send me a bill, and then I'm going to have to make payments on it. So making sure that you have the right amount of insurance for what you need protected, that's a critical step, whether it's for the personal injury or for the property that you own.
Good information. Speaking of getting protected, I think that relationships get all skewed up. And we just had Valentine's Day because they don't talk about their finances. And it ends up not protecting them, not protecting the relationship, not protecting their finances. Now, if you're new in a relationship, obviously you're not going to, probably it's too soon to talk about all the deep stuff of your credit and income and assets and everything. But as you get, you just look at your habits, right? Look at the habits of how they're spending, what are they taking you out to. In fact, Bankrate.com did a study. And it showed that women actually find the guy that takes them to mid-level restaurants versus the high class more stable. Same with the car. So you drive a super flashy car, they're onto you. So don't think that driving the super flashy car and taking them to Nick and Sam's every time you go out is impressing them. In fact, they may be rightly assuming that you are just putting on a show. And so they feel like you're more financially stable if you're taking a mid-level restaurant. So, hey, guys, good for you. Don't worry about it. And girls that are taking the guys out because you make more money than them, which happens more these days, well, there's a lesson for you too. Now,
I'm going to try that at home, let you know how that works out.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
So if you get deeper into a relationship, as you get deeper, more committed, married, etc., then it's, guys, you have date night. First of all, couples have a date night, have it scheduled. Do that. It's an important appointment. It'll slip by. It's so important. Second one, have a budget night. Have a night where you talk about that. Because here's what it frees you up for. It frees you up to not have to talk about it on date night. Does that make sense? So you know how sometimes you just get frustrated and you don't have something to talk about, and then when you're trying to maybe have a good night together, all of a sudden all those financial concerns come up. If you can schedule it to have a time that's appointed that you discuss those things, it helps out tremendously. It's happened in my own marriage. Of course, Beth at this point runs the finances at the house, which is
good move.
Yeah, I think good move for me.
Which means she canceled the budget night and has 2 date nights to offset the budget night, right?
That's right. She does basically her budget night when we have budget night now, and when she talks to me about stuff, it's like, hey, I told you to do that. Did you get that done? No, dear, I did not. I will get right on that. Thank you very much. So, which works out great for us now. But just so you know, for us, we have our own separate checking accounts, and then we have a joint checking account, and we have our own separate savings and a joint savings. So we each, from our own joint or from our own separate accounts, put money into a joint account every single month. That's a budget that we have that goes into there. And so that takes care of our bills and our savings and our investments. Everything goes into that because that's for the family. Anything we have left over after that is ours, and we have our own savings plan, etc. But it's really nice because on those date nights, I get to take her out with my card as opposed to the family card. So it actually helps us with a little bit of romance and that dating feeling. Plus, it helps us feel a little independent, but also have the family taken care of. So important things to do, guys. That's my tip for you, is to have a budget night that you can talk about that stuff. Do you guys agree with that?
Completely.
Extremely romantic.
I tell you, it'll help you have more romance on the Valentine's Day when you don't have those concerns, because guess what? Let's talk about it on Tuesday. That's our night to talk about budget.
Yeah. That's a good point. I like it.
Well, Gabe doesn't have to worry about those things. He doesn't.
You can tell who's been married for half a century here versus, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of tough to schedule date night and budget night when you have 2 kids. So it's
true.
a little difficult.
It is difficult, but it's something that when of course where you're at in your life too, your budget night can be, sometimes your budget night doesn't have to be all night. It could be a budget hour. You know what I mean? As you grow in that, it could be a budget.
Hopefully it's not a night.
It's a 30-minute deal. At first, it's going to be 3 hours. You know what I mean? That's because you don't even know everything. Where's your credit card? Where do you want to plan? Where do you want to invest? How do we need it? What's our game plan for getting with a financial planner? What's your game plan for getting with an estate planner, right? You got all those things in place. But if you don't have those things in place, you've got to set out a plan to make that happen. And then your meeting can get shorter. And that's the way it goes. But you got to start somewhere. Gabe. Okay. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. My special guests today are Nick Kline and Marjorie Ornelas of the Ornelas+Kline team at Keller Williams Plano. Nick, president of the North Texas YPN, and both Marjorie and Nick are experts in their market. And they're going to talk to you about that here in just a minute. We're going to talk to them also about how you need to prepare for the spring season if you're a seller, and talk about those tides changing. Is it a seller's market now? Is it still a buyer's market? We'll get the tips from the experts next.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
You'd get upset when your insurance company doesn't pay your claim. More often than not, the reason is because you didn't buy the coverage that you thought you had. Just because you have a policy does not mean that you have coverage for all of the things that may happen to your house or your car. Your education about proper insurance coverage does not have to be long and drawn out. Want some help? Call me. I'm John Allen with Texas Community Insurance, and you can reach me at 214-736-9696. Once again, that's John Allen at 214-736-9696.
Real Estate Radio's Tuttle Talk in Dallas is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Andy Tuttle. The purpose of the show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in DFW, Andy Tuttle can help. Call Andy directly at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Take advantage of speaking with Andy anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Andy today and you'll be glad you did. 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or you can visit andytuttle.com for more info.
Do you have an insurance strategy? When is the last time you had a policy checkup? Do these sound like odd questions to you? Well, they might if you are used to hearing insurance agents talk only about all the money they can save you on your insurance. Saving money is important, but with insurance, saving money on premium may cost you big dollars on claims. Why? Because not all policies are created equally. So, if you come across someone who does not have a clear insurance strategy, or you yourself don't, they probably need an insurance review or a policy checkup. And John Allen with Texas Community Insurance can help. He is trusted in the industry, and he has helped me and many of my clients over the years save tons of money and get properly insured. Call 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696, and we will personally introduce you to John Allen to get that review, get that checkup, and take care of your needs. You can also reach out on Facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. Welcome back, Dallas. You are listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. You can reach out to me during or after the show at 214-736-9696. 214-736-9696. You can also email me at questions@andytuttle.com, and you can catch all shows, including this one, and the segments on andytuttle.com. Okay, my special guests today are Nick Kline and Marjorie Ornelas of the Ornelas+Kline team. If I said that right, I would really be mad at myself if I said that name wrong. But they are fantastic agents over at Keller Williams Plano. I've had the joy of being able to work with Nick on the North Texas YPN committee. He serves there as the president for the Collin County Association of Realtors. They have a Young Professionals Network, and he's been leading that, putting on events and educational events and fun events for realtors to network and grow in a community together, which ultimately helps you, the homeowner. And I'm going to tell you about that, and we'll get Nick's opinion on that here shortly. But Nick, Marjorie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You bet.
Glad to be here.
Yes, good. Glad you guys are here. I can't wait to get into some of the ideas we're going to talk about today. Nick, I do want to start with you. So on the YPN, because you're obviously you're a full-time agent. You guys are busy. You're doing well, but you also have taken on the undertaking of being in the YPN. So first, tell everybody what the YPN is.
Sure. Like you said, YPN, Young Professionals Network, it is a group of young realtors that get to network with each other. The average age of a real estate agent is 52, according to the National Association of Realtors. So for the YPN, it's young people coming together, maybe straight out of college or straight out of real estate school, that actually can learn from each other and help the community that way. So we're just another tool in the real estate handbasket.
Yeah. Why did you decide to take that on? What compelled you to take on the role as president, which is a big role?
Sure. I ask myself that daily. Good question. No, it was something that needed to be had. So in Dallas, there's a couple of real estate boards. This particular real estate board did not have a YPN. I'm also a firm believer you only live once, so kind of take on as much as you can. And really, it's something that needed to happen. And luckily, I was stepping in place along with Stephanie Allen. We know her here in the studio, but maybe some of you out there know her as well. But she and I saw it was a need that needed to happen, and we got it done.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking up the leadership role on that and leading the community, because it has helped, and I think it does help realtors. Now, how does it help, in your opinion, the homeowner?
Sure. So regardless of age, because of the education sessions that we have, networking with each other, getting mentored by more experienced real estate agents. So regardless of age, your realtor in Collin County is going to be competent and reliable and experienced, and that's why it's there. And
connected, which I think is a big value, because it helps some of the real estate move quicker, right? And if a homeowner's looking for something, because you have a network, you're networked with other agents, you're able to find that quicker for them. And so you've got a real group there that's dedicated to helping each other and helping you, so you can move real estate or help you sell your home quicker.
Exactly. Sure.
So, and I love that. And since they're dedicated to doing that, I think it makes them a higher level professional, because the last thing you need is a part-time agent or your aunt from Kentucky who sold real estate 10 years ago and thinks she knows what she can do in Texas. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. And so glad to see professionals doing it the right way. Marjorie, now, before you got into real estate, you did something interesting. What was your story before real estate?
Well, for many years, I was in advertising. I was a media director, which made me very, very popular because I spent millions of dollars of other people's money. And now I do something similar, except I help people spend the most money they're ever going to spend on any one item in their lives. And I love it. It was always my passion. Real estate is sort of my side avocation. So now it's my full-time avocation. I should have done it a long time ago.
Well, I'm sure that you're glad to be in it now, it sounds like, too, and you get to be with Nick, or rather he gets to be with you. Let's be honest.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is because I know you guys have a lot of fun, what is the team dynamic like?
Well, we really have two very different spheres. I mean, clearly I'm of another generation, so Nick brings the kind of technology and the current vibe that's going on in the marketplace and the constant changing dynamic of our media landscape with him. And I bring sort of the more business acumen to our more my life has been very professionally geared towards corporate life, and so I bring that aspect into the relationship, and we complement each other. I'm very blunt and very to the point, and Nick's very hail fellow, well met. So, yeah.
Opposites attract.
Well, speaking of opposites and complementing each other, Nick, who does what? How does this work out?
Well, lately it's been let's hit the pavement and everybody's getting going, helping each other. But kind of what Marjorie was saying, I do a lot of the technology stuff on the back end, websites, some of the negotiations. Honestly, we both get clients and find clients where we can, especially in wine bars.
That's my specialty.
Great place to network.
That's right. Really, I mean, it's just a good team. Couldn't have found a better real estate partner. So.
Yeah, and I know you guys focus in a lot of different areas. You really serve the Dallas Metroplex. No, you go down to Oak Cliff. I know you spread all the way up past Louisville and probably even to Denton, correct? I mean, you really that's where your stop really focused right along there in Dallas and Collin County, would you say?
I would say so. Well, I would say North Oak Cliff up to Frisco. We've gone a little further north for a specific client, but most of our business is, and that's a big area. This is a huge metroplex, but we have a lot of business that starts in the uptown area, a lot of first-time home buyers, and we end up taking them where they need to go.
Yeah.
And that has increased our business for repeat business outside of the uptown area.
You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. My guests are Nick Kline and Marjorie Ornelas of the Ornelas+Kline team at Keller Williams Plano. You know, Uptown, I know you guys focus a lot there too. What does make Uptown such a great place to live?
Well, it has probably the best walk score in Dallas. If you go to walkscore.com and you can check it out, State Thomas specifically is what I'm thinking of. It's a score of 88, which means that to park your car and go wherever you need to go for entertainment, for grocery shopping, for a theater, for a park, for your favorite wine bar, you can get there on foot.
Or out your apartment door or your home door.
That's true.
That's right.
So is that why people mostly move there? What draws them to the Uptown market?
I call it light urban living. I mean, it's a well-designed, it's a master plan in a way, not like you see out in Frisco, but they did actually plan the State Thomas neighborhood, the West Village, so that you wouldn't have buildings more than 3 stories. It would all be very user-friendly, very warm and inviting. So they're brownstones. You have all the architecture has to flow. All the utilities are buried. So it's really attractive, but it's attractive because it is a focal point for the arts. You've got Clyde Warren Park right there. You've got the symphony, the theaters there. You've got Whole Foods coming in on McKinney Avenue. So you literally will park your car and not have to get in it again. And that's, we don't have any neighborhoods around there that are a place you wouldn't want to live. I mean, it's just very attractive.
I do love that. And we went down and visited that park, and it is pretty awesome.
The new one, Clyde Warren Park?
Yeah. It's pretty fantastic. And it does connect, which I know they wanted to connect downtown and uptown. They've done a really good job with that. And it's great to have, I like big cities. And it's great to be able to walk around and do that. So you don't have to get in your car. You can leave it there and you can go wherever you need to go.
Well, downtown Dallas is now becoming a destination. I mean, it used to be just where financial services and attorneys had their offices, and it dried up and blew away at night when the people who worked there. And now people live there, they shop there, they have lives there. So it's really, the direction Dallas is going in is really exciting. We have an actual city with the integrity of a city. We're not just a financial center with sprawling suburbs.
Absolutely right. We're going back to the epicenter. I love seeing the downtown thrive again. Beth and I go down there all the time. We take Gabe down there. Actually, we go and there's great places to eat. It's a great place to just hang out.
Gabe on a leash.
On the park. Yeah, Gabe takes me down there. No. See, now you're making fun of Gabe. Sorry, buddy. Gabe, you are a punching bag today. This is not right.
Love you, Gabe.
But I tell you what, I love the freaking food trucks down there.
Yeah,
Man,
that's cool.
I love
That's
that.
very
That
cool.
is such a fun idea, and it's great to be able to go down. And I got some banh mi before I got on this diet, and that was delicious. So what is the market. I know Dallas is doing some great things. I've been hearing some things all over the Metroplex by interviewing realtors. But what's your take on what's happening in the market right now, as far as inventory and everything else?
Inventory is drying up. I mean, we've been out with buyers. I know today's Saturday, last week, multiple offers on homes that have been in the market for one day. And buyers are just not aware that that is the situation. They still have the mentality, oh, let's go look at some homes. We have a week, we have 2 weeks, whatever. That's just not the case in a lot of areas, especially uptown, Richardson, Frisco, Plano, Carrollton, Farmers Branch, West Dallas, East Dallas. I mean, if it's HGTV ready and priced even just a little bit high, it doesn't even have to be priced that well. It's gone. It really is. So
if you're hearing me correctly, what I hear you guys saying, if you're listening to this, it's gone from a buyer's market where you can dictate and take your time and lowball and do all that to a seller's market, yes?
Yes, it has, although buyers haven't caught up and investors have not necessarily caught up with that either. So I'm still seeing investors coming in and offering ridiculously low amounts and not budging off of them. And I don't know where they think they're going to get their next flip because that price of dirt isn't what they're offering on. It's not worth it for a seller to take it.
So, one of the purposes of this show is to give tips to buyers, investors, sellers in whatever the market that we're in. So based on that comment, it's a great way to go into what tips would you give those investors or buyers right now that aren't catching up?
Well, I think that the education will be quick, and I think the bottom line is that prices are going up. So where their math told them that they had to come in, with certain ratios, they're probably going to have to adjust it up. They're just going to have to understand they're going to pay more for that house, and then they're going to turn around and sell it for more than they thought they probably could have. The problem with that, of course, is appraisals aren't catching up quite yet, so they're on a catch-22.
That's a whole other issue to talk about. There's a challenge with the way our appraisals are done now, where it's hard. It used to be a leading indicator. Now it's really a lagging indicator, which is a problem actually, because a price should go to what the seller's willing to sell it for and the buyer's willing to buy. That's the price of that house, but instead they're a lagging indicator, so it's going to take a while.
Sure.
But what other tips, buddy?
Realize as a buyer, you are the one in control. Some real estate agents talk really fast. Some inspectors talk really fast. You're in the driving seat. So you got to flex your consumer muscle and let people understand that. You don't need to be run over. And we see that day in and day out, just happening in the market. But you're in control. This is your purchase. Another thing is relax. Buying a mortgage, buying your home can be very stressful. But at the end of the day, you got to keep it in perspective. Relax, take it easy. It's nothing to be super duper stressed about. I mean, it is a purchase. Granted, it may be the largest purchase of your life, but it's nothing to have a heart attack about. Let me put it that way.
We got good professionals there helping you. And what I love, another thing we love to reduce stress, and I know you guys do too, is utility concierge. Because all those little tasks of setting up your utilities and your security and your internet and all that good stuff, it goes away because you can make one call and they can take care of all of that for you. We find with our clients, and most of the realtors that we know that use them, love the service. And so that's one way you can, as a homeowner, even if you're living in your home now, to look at taking some weight off of you and saving some money is go to Utility Concierge. So that's what we love having them a part of the show.
Let me put it this way. Me personally and Marjorie personally have used Utility Concierge.
I call them every year when it's time to re-up my electric company and say, which one do I need to be with?
That's fantastic. I know, I love it too. Yeah. I'm just lazy maybe on other stuff that has to do with personal, but I feel like I don't have the time. They do. Let them do it. Doesn't cost you anything. So
they don't sell you real estate, and I don't check out utility companies. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, any other final tips for the buyers or the sellers in this market before we wrap up?
Yeah. Call Andy Tuttle.
Score.
Need to get a mortgage.
On that, would you agree you need to get pre-approved first?
Yes.
Oh, please do that first because really, honestly, if you're approved for $250 and you're running around looking at $350,000 houses, you're definitely going to be happy with that $250,000 house you can afford. So get pre-approved before you ever go looking.
And a lot of listings these days are not accepting contracts without a pre-approval letter. So what's the point of going out looking if you don't have it?
Such very good advice, guys. Marjorie, Nick, thank you guys so much for being here.
No, thank you.
You bet. So, guys, you heard that. Get pre-approved. Call us 214-736-9696. 214-736-9696. We'll help you with that. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on 1190 AM KFXR here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Remember, You can also become a fan of the show, facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. Coming up, Nick and Marjorie, they are going to give us the real steal of the week. And then we're going to get to Coach's Corner with Coach Jimmy on how you need to focus on getting healthy and trim for the summer. So stay with us.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Having insurance and having the right amount of coverage are not necessarily the same thing. For example, water damage happens in a variety of ways and is one of the top reasons people file property claims in Texas. But did you know that some well-known companies will not even cover you if a drain backs up and overflows into the house? Just because you have a policy does not guarantee that you are truly protected. Be safe, check with your agent. If you'd like some help, call me. I'm John Allen with Texas Community Insurance, and you can reach me at 214-736-9696. Once again, that's John Allen at 214-736-9696.
Everyone is busy, not to mention the headache that comes with moving. And that's why Utility Concierge is here, to make the moving process easier, faster, and simpler. Utility Concierge will connect you with all the available options from basic utilities to cable, phone, internet, home security, and everything in between. Don't waste hours on the phone talking to service providers when you can make one call to Utility Concierge, the one-stop shop for your move and your home needs. You make the selections, they make the connections. Call 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696 to get connected today.
As a business owner, are you getting all the tax advantages that are available to you? Are your assets protected from creditors as much as possible? What are you doing to save and invest your hard-earned income on a tax-favored basis? And finally, are you aware that you can legally discriminate in favor of yourself and other key employees with certain planning techniques? Hi, I'm Randy Nichols, partner at Spectrum Financial Group in Addison, Texas. If you answered no or you're unaware of the answer to any of these questions, call me at 214-736-9696. I can provide you with the answer to these and other important questions to help you improve your personal financial situation and take advantage of all the benefits that are available to you. Call me, Randy Nichols, at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696.
Why do people prefer to do business with Fidelity National Title? Some people say for the high-level security we offer through our solid financial strength. Some say they trust our history of excellent service. But most say it's our passion for excellence that keeps our customers coming back. Put your trust in a company that stands the test of time and will be here tomorrow. To learn more about Fidelity National Title, visit fidelitydfw.com or call 877-862-9111.
And we're back. See, every week I'm getting more confident. Gabe, I'm going to have you do this one week. I tell you, I'm going to have that happen. You're listening to Tuttle Talk on the Real Estate Radio Network. I am your host, Andy Tuttle. You can reach out to us. Confidential hotline, talk to you about your mortgage real estate needs or set you up with Nick or Marjorie if you're looking for a home right now. 214-736-9696 or questions at andytuttle.com. Now, every week, you know we do this. We give you the best deal that's going on right now in Dallas. And this week, it is brought to you by our guests today, Nick and Marjorie. So, guys, what is the real steal of the week?
Well, for us, it's 4007 Goodfellow. We love this listing. It is a total redo, but you're not going to get in under $635 under Forest Lane for $275,000.
Whoa.
And it's a little over 2,000 square feet, but it's a solid house. It's got, you know, everything working in it that it should be working. It just needs kitchen and bathrooms, but really you could move in, you could work on it in your own time, and you could be in a neighborhood. There's a flipper down the street, and we do back onto Forest Lane, and that is a negative for some people, but we really think for this price that you can get over it. But you get down the street, same side of Forest Lane, a flipper has one on for $400,000. There's a foreclosure kitty corner for $324,000. So this at $275,000 is a great deal. We have tenants on the property, but it's easy to show.
Great. And I tell you, one of the things you can do with that, guys, if you don't want to do it on your own time, don't want to spend the money, you can finance that with home-style renovation loans. go up to 417 on that. So you can actually update that home. And of course, we provide those at Real Estate Mortgage Network. So if that's something you need, we can help you with that. Great property. It's a fantastic area. We have some friends that live out there.
It is.
Beautiful over there.
It is.
That is a real steal of the week. So thank you so much for providing that.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. And we'll have that. You'll give me the link so I can post that on the fan page?
Absolutely.
Perfect. We'll have that on the fan page for you so you can click that and find out more about it and maybe even schedule a showing. So please take advantage of that and do that this weekend. It's a beautiful weekend to do it. And now it's time, like we do every week, we get with Coach Jimmy to talk about your financial fitness. We always talk about your financial fitness. We're going to talk about your physical fitness. We do that with Coach's Corner. Here is Coach Jimmy. Coach Jimmy, thanks for being with us.
Good afternoon, Andy. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing just fine, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'd love to hear about your week. Is now you're ending week 2 of the Ultimate Reset. How's it going?
I tell you, it's actually been great, but except for one breakfast, the worst breakfast of my life. I had miso soup with seaweed and mashed chickpeas with some kind of, I don't know what it was, but it was a work. That was work. But
Okay, so at the end of 2 weeks, which we're talking, 4 meals a day, out of all of that, you've had one meal you weren't crazy about, right?
Yep, exactly. So
that's not too bad. That's not too bad. What have been some of your favorite meals that you've got to indulge in so far?
I tell you what, the sweet potato red bell pepper meal is awesome. The quinoa lentil pilaf thing, whatever that is, man, delicious. And here's what I found surprising, because when I look at some of that stuff, I'm like, how is this going to fill me up? Well, you're right again, you little rat, because I had a bowl of fruit this morning, just a big old bowl of fruit, tons of berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, some peaches, and I was actually full. I still haven't eaten lunch yet. So, and I'm still pretty full. So I'm pretty impressed with that and how that works. So that is something I didn't think was actually going to happen.
That's a great lesson for everybody listening, not even, those that are doing the Ultimate Reset with you, but just as they're making food choices, it's the exact same reason somebody can go to a fast food place, order a number 3, jumbo size it, eat the entire thing, and still be hungry. It's the reverse of that, because in those fast food meals, there are a lot of calories, a lot of food, but there's no nutrients. There's no density of the nutrients of basically why your body says it's hungry. So you eat all those calories, you eat all that junk, and your body goes, great, I still didn't get what I was looking for. The body's calling for a banana or a peach or an apple or some kind of vegetable, and we're giving it crud, so it still says, well, we're still hungry. That's why we overeat, where on this Ultimate Reset, right, every meal you're eating is so nutrient-dense, it may not be calorically high, but you stay full for a long time because your body's actually getting what it needs, and those signals that it sends to your brain saying, I'm hungry, you're giving it exactly what it needs.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. And I tell you, every once in a while, it's been 3 times now in the afternoon where because I have a snack probably about every day, but where I've need a little extra something. So I've had that vegan Shakeology, and because it's about 160 calories or 130 calories, something like that. Anyway, if I'm ever in doubt, that gets me right where I need to be, and it's been really a big help.
And which vegan flavor are you doing? Are you doing chocolate vegan or strawberry vegan?
I don't know anything else. Chocolate, baby. That's the way to go.
Nice. I like both, but it's funny because the chocolate people are very loyal to chocolate, and the strawberry people are very loyal to strawberry. But that's awesome that you can incorporate, a meal replacement like Shakeology in the midst of doing this Ultimate Reset, and you're still right on pace, and you've lost how much weight?
6.5 pounds, brother. And I feel better, and I'm sleeping great still, so it's really good. And if you do me a favor and get me the links to the Shakeology deal and the links to the Reset, because I keep having people ask me about it on Facebook, so I just want to make sure I have those links for them so that they can get involved. We've had a few other people join up, which is great. I think it's great that we can help some people lose some weight too. So hopefully, if you're listening, do it and tell us about it, because we'd love to hear about your story too. All right, Jimmy.
That's awesome, man. I love how you're leading by example. Keep it up.
Thanks, brother. Have a great day.
All right, take care.
Okay. So, Gabe, before we go here, I really wanted to talk with you about your little event you're doing, your little contest you're doing for Realtors. Is that right?
Started out where we're going to give away a trip, a big thing after a quarter, we're going to give away some type of trip. And so we started talking about it more and more, and we're like, well, what we do at Utility Concierge, we customize packages for people. So instead of saying a realtor, at the end of the quarter, we're going to do this awesome cruise or whatever for you, what we're going to do, we're still figuring out how to market it, but what we're going to do, we're going to say, look, we're going to give you the trip that you want. So we're going to talk to you, find out what your needs are, and we're going to design a trip around your wants and your needs. So it's exactly what we do every day with our customers. So we're going to do that for the people that send us our business.
Okay, well, keep us posted on that contest on the radio and show us how that all works out. And are you going to have any stuff on your fan page about that when it comes up?
We will. It's kind of, we're figuring out how to market it. So I'll probably be talking to you about it.
Yeah, sure. And maybe Marjorie, since she's here today and she's been a marketing director like most of her life, so that'd be there's a lot of talent in the room.
Yeah, we should talk about it for sure.
All right, let's do that. You're listening to Tuttle Talk. I hope you have enjoyed this hour. If you want to get a hold of us, if you want to get a hold of Marjorie or Nick and look at that home or look at any other homes your real estate needs, call us 214-736-9696. We'll get you connected. You can also email us at questions@andytuttle.com. And don't forget to get your boots on at bootcampaign.com. That supports the troops, Wounded Warrior, many other charities. Get them on, wear them, buy them at bootcampaign.com, and then post the pictures of them. We wear ours the first Friday of every single month, so we'd love you to get involved in that and help those charities out. Don't forget, if you do want to find out how much money you can save or find out what you qualify for, you can also go to yourmortgagereview.com. Take 5 minutes, complete the short survey. We'll get back with you. We'll get a mortgage coach to call you. You'll have a free consultation. We'll give you a total cost analysis, and you'll get a free copy of your credit report just for calling and going through that process. It's important that you're educated on this, and we want to help you get educated and get in the game. Buying a home helps. There's 30 people involved in 8 companies. It spurs our economy. Get in the game. Buy a house. If you'd like to discuss anything related to the show, again, call us 214-736-9696. I'd like to thank Coach Jimmy, Gabe, John to come back today, and our special guests, Marjorie and Nick. Thank you so much for being here. I'd also like to thank our production director, Danny Miles, and all the family here at KFXR. That's it for today. Race Talk is up next. Thank you so much for joining us here on Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.